So Keystone really responds to those three questions. It's a national initiative to develop new capacities, but also crucially at this point, I think none of you really need your capacities to be developed in that sense. I mean, you're all senior people, but hopefully we'll be able to come together, we'll be able to channelize ourselves in towards addressing needs of health systems and policy development. It's a collective endeavor of several Indian research organizations. Keystone is convened by the Public Health Foundation of India in its role as a nodal institute of the Alliance for Health Policy and Systems Research at the World Health Organization. So just a nod here to the wider organization we are linked to. So the Alliance is a group of organizations globally which was set up about 15 years ago in WHO headquarters, and that has been supporting developing this field of health policy and systems research for the last 15 years. That's our tagline: building capacity, building community. So this all started about a year ago. Actually, it's an idea which has been fomenting for a while, but it started about in reality. This is a meeting which took place in July, but the planning for it started about a year ago. You'll recognize many of the people there. Possibly some people who are well-known figures in health systems research. That's Professor Muralidharan from IIT. That's Dr. Rajni Ved, who's here today. And many other figures. Deva is here, Professor Yosudian, Dr. Sundari Ravindran, Dr. Thelma Narayan. And there are some international, Dr. Geeta Sen, a lot of international advisors here. Kara Hansen is an economist from London School of Hygiene, Helen Schneider from University of Western Cape, Professor Mavlankar, John Porter, Richard Cash. So anyway, this is just not to name drop, but rather to just show that so many different people from different institutions were involved. And many of the faculty are actually standing over here, and you'll be meeting them over the next few days. So the idea was that all these institutions got together and we decided that we should have this course. So it's not just PHFI, it's a collective effort. And this is the kind of thinking behind it, that really the course, it's not really just a course, it's a kind of an entire initiative. So we deliver a high quality focused HPSR short course. This kind of gives rise to a curriculum which is grounded in system needs and priorities. We'll also interact frequently with people in the health ministry when we are developing the curriculum. We had, and we have people from the ministry who will be joining us at some point in the course as well. Multiple networked organizations. The idea is that over a period of time, this is not something that will happen immediately, but all of you, we hope, will become ambassadors and catalysts to take forward the Keystone Initiative in some way, and towards again perpetuating this virtuous cycle of creating more and more skilled researchers who are able to work in a way that is meaningful for themselves and for the system. Sorry, this is all background stuff, but I thought it was just, it would be interesting for you to just see this. I can speed through it if you like, but maybe these values are relevant because these were discussed during the July meeting when we decided to set up Keystone. Striving for the highest attainable quality of research. So we are not research training and research. So I think we want to set ourselves at a global level, and by that I don't mean that we want to be competitive or anything like that. The word global I'm referring to just that we need to achieve the highest possible quality, and we don't think that we are any less capable. In fact, I think we are more capable than many other countries of achieving that really high quality. And cross-disciplinarity, promoting research that addresses pressing health system priorities, but through application of a range of disciplinary approaches and frameworks, emphasizing the relevance of training and research for people involved in positive change. So we need to think about research as something that is useful for people who are making change, and those may be policymakers, but they may also be communities, they may also be middle managers, they may be service providers, frontline providers, could be a range of people, but they are all involved in bringing about change. Community orientation, so we want to think ourselves not as faculty and fellows, but we are all in this together. place principles of equity and justice at the heart of the initiative, and also we need to be attentive to principles of research ethics, while recognizing that ethics of HPSR is not a crystallized field. It's you see, we in public health we adhere to the kind of biomedical ethical principles, or we just take them for granted. But sometimes there may be other ethical principles we may need to consider when we are talking about social research and social science research. So the course aim and objectives. Sorry. Keystone course aims to develop individual capacities and channelize latent capacities for investigating and addressing real-world problems of health systems and policy through rigorous immersion in current HPSR approaches, frameworks, and methodologies. Okay, so this one I think is we can just stop a bit and think about it. So by the end of 14 days, we should all be able to formulate relevant research questions in the field of health policy and systems, select the appropriate research strategies and approaches for answering these questions, and think through strategies to support the use of research knowledge in health system decision making. So yeah, so okay, so maybe just useful a little bit now to talk about the scope of HPSR. So now here is where I think some of the discussions on exclusivity may come in. While HPSR, the idea is not to create a field that has very clear boundaries. Maybe it is useful to think about what is health systems research and what is what we don't traditionally understand to be in that family of approaches. So again, maybe this is a weak point for me, so please correct me, but and if you don't disagree with me, please say it very strongly, but I'm just going to go ahead and say what I think the scope of health policy and systems research is. So first of all, like I said, it's not defined very clearly, and that's partly because it's not identified, it's not defined by the disciplinary base, but rather by issues that we address and the questions that we ask. Yeah. So it includes research that focuses on health services, but it's not only health services. It also addresses research focused on promotion of health, and we can take a very wide interpretation of promotion of health, which could mean everything from financing to health promotion to environmental considerations to a range of other issues. Concern for global and international issues as well as national and subnational issues. So it doesn't confine itself to any particular level. You can go and research how the World Bank is interacting with the WHO, you know, and that is also health systems research and health policy research. Or you can research how ASHAs are interacting with the users of care. It's the same. They are equally important questions. Research on or of policy. It addresses the so it includes research on policy as well as research. This is actually the same thing. On or of policy, research of policy implies that we actually can research politics. So we can look at how policy and politics plays out in the health system. It addresses the politics of health systems and health system services, but it also exists explicitly for policy. So the last point actually that comes in here is that it promotes work that explicitly seeks to influence policy. So HPSR is both on policy, it's done on policy to understand policy process, policy actors, policy context, but it also exists for policy. So it has a change orientation, it has a policy orientation explicitly. So anything that needs to be clarified or anything that you have a issue with over here? Is it clear? Multiple arenas, levels, doesn't just focus on services, not defined by discipline but rather by questions, and it's a policy oriented field, a change oriented field. What else? It's not clinical science or basic science. Okay, so this is what is not. So here the exclusions come in. Okay. It's not only rooted in economics or financing, although both are important. So it's important to say this because these fields have become dominant actually. Most people ask these questions, most funders fund this kind of research. It's not focused on disease distribution, causes and interventions. That's a different field, that's epidemiology or public health or part of public health. But in health systems research, we will not health policy system will not focus on disease dynamics, but rather we will focus on the generic organizational and societal structures through which such interventions can be implemented. So we look at how a facility operates, or how health worker provides care, or we can look at how somebody finances services, but we will not look at the disease, specifically the disease in question and how it operates. So this is, I think, fairly, most people would agree. Yeah, nobody will contest this. Where it may get a bit more tricky is here. And this is where we differentiate between what we call the field of health services research or operational research, somebody brought up that issue, and health policy and systems research. So it's not that you can't research particular services. You can, definitely, or disease programs. But that's not the primary intention of doing health policy and systems research. Or it can be, you can have research that focuses on a particular service or program, but it should have equivalent focus on an issue that looks beyond that service or program and which is relevant for the system at large. It must think beyond that program or service. So if you're working on TB and DOTS care, the relevance of that must be for TB patients and TB sufferers and the TB program, but equally it must be for the delivery of, say, primary health care, or for the politics of health, or for a broader health systems research question. We often use particular services or diseases as tracers for understanding systems issues. Maternal health services are often used, so very often, because they give you a window into how the health system operates. It's like a case study, or it's also, the word tracer is also called a vertical case study. It's like a sort of a cross section of the health system, but you're only looking at a part of it. But that is giving you a window into how the rest of the system operates. Alternatively, it may be research because a particular service or a particular disease has system-wide effects. This example again is from CHEPSA. So in antiretroviral therapy, we have to understand the importance of that in South African settings, where 50%, 40% of the population at times have been HIV infected. So for them, antiretroviral therapy is inseparable from the system. It's a very important part. Like for us, maternal health is inseparable. For them, HIV care is inseparable. Is this also any points of issue over here, or any thoughts about this? That while we do research specific services and diseases, they are typically as a tracer for understanding system issues, or because they themselves have system-wide effects. But the question must think beyond the program or service to this entire system. Okay, I'm going to wrap up soon, so we're all going to get some tea and energy very soon. But any thoughts on this one? Yeah.
You said that health policy system research is not basically health services research, and you have these slides clearly say that whatever is being done may not constitute health policy system research, because most of the health system research, services research publication we see is related to maternal health services and the constant related transport, JSY and others. So, is the health services research not part of an overall umbrella of HPSR?
So I think there's an overlap. I think the best way to look at it is as a Venn diagram with two overlapping circles, in which there are some areas which you can call both health services research and health policy and systems research, some areas which would be distinct.
This slide is given as a new dimension. Actually, I was thinking HSR, health services research, as part of HPSR. And the last bullet point has given a more clear message that we should think beyond the programs and services.
Yeah, I was thinking that what could be the trajectory from health service research usage to health policy and systems research usage? Is there a reason why we clearly use a different terminology as compared to health service research, which people have been using for years?
Yes.
So what exactly is the additional component which makes it health policy systems research as different from health service?
Many components. I think probably primary among those are two. One is the concept of systems thinking. That the system is a composite of interconnected entities, and you move one and they all tend to move. And of course, Joe will be talking about that at length more. So the idea that when we look at a system, it does not, you can't look at a program in isolation without that broader understanding of how it has the ramifications and the significance for the entire system. And the other is the policy part, the policy in health policy and systems research, which specifically points to decision making at different levels, the political significance of health systems. So those are aspects which would then be a bit separate from health services research. Typically, health services research, which is an established field in many high-income countries. The interesting thing is high-income countries have never come up with a health systems research actually. That field doesn't really exist in many of the, there's no journal of health systems research in the UK or USA or Germany or any of those, but they have extended fields of health services research. So this is actually a field which is almost evolved exclusively for this kind of global / low and middle income country space. This is just examples of thinking about systems, not programs, something we've been discussing already. So maybe, so system goal, if it's thinking broad, i.e. beyond the disease, if there's a disease perspective would say INH prophylaxis for prevention, a system perspective would say secondary prevention for TB and other common diseases. So that's thinking beyond the disease. Thinking cross-cutting. So if the disease program perspective is implementing a TB program register, system perspective would be broader improvement in information systems, not just in the TB patient register. Thinking scale, this is an important issue. So not just strengthening DOTS in a particular facility, but rather strengthening district community-based services overall, of which DOTS is one component. Thinking comprehensive delivery platform. So rather than running a TB service, that perspective, we rather look at a broader system perspective, building a primary healthcare system that is available, affordable, and acceptable and responsive. So you see, these are not just academic distinctions. These are actually ideological distinctions that are being made here. It doesn't mean that these things are not important, but rather this is the lens through which we can look at these things. Okay, so let me quickly move on. Threshold concepts. Okay, so these are things that I think many of you will already have crossed that threshold, but still for us all it's useful to help us to think about these concepts. These are things which we need to internalize if we are to study health policy and systems effectively. Tell me if you disagree with any of them, but these are the kind of concepts we would like you to have internalized by the end of the course. The health system is knowable and changeable. It doesn't mean you can know everything about it, but there are things you can know about it. And it can be changed. That's the other thing. Many people actually believe you can't change anything. That's the reason for a lot of what we call policy paralysis, apathy, all of those things. It's intractable. You can't actually. It's too corrupt, too this, too that, too entrenched. So I think we need to commit to the idea that that's not true. People are at the center of the health system, driven by values and contexts. So the most important thing in health systems are people, both the people who are receiving care, also the people who are providing, the people who are managing, the people who are making plans, the people who are financing. Health policy and system research is also a part of the health system. So this is maybe so I think sometimes it's easy to say, yes, this is a good concept. But I myself, I'm not sure it's very easy for me to actually act like I'm part of the health system. I agree with the idea, but sometimes I struggle to operationalize it. So I think that's the threshold that we need to cross. But once we start thinking about ourselves as part of the system, I think our perspectives, our whole take on our practice changes. Our perspectives influence how issues and research is shaped. So what are we involved in actually? Why do we think we are powerless? Why do we think that people are not following our recommendations? Because we are involved, if we study power, if we study the field of power, the most powerful form of power is thought control, is the ability to change ideas, not to actually do something operational or do something instrumental. It's to change the way people think. And that's our job. We are actually in a potentially the most powerful position. So if we think about it like that, maybe we'll change our whole perspective on how we are part of the system. Our perspectives influence how issues and research is shaped and how evidence is utilized. Health systems are socially constructed. They exist within context and histories. So they have not just you can't look at two health systems the same way. I mean, this is a point which actually places a fundamental challenge to the idea of comparative health services, which is again a quite well-established field. Can you really compare when things have arisen from completely different, precedents? They've been shaped in completely different ways. I'm sure you can compare, but you need to change the way you think about comparison. You can't compare literally. Health systems are integrative by nature and consist of complex interrelationships. So these are, I think, a bit more advanced concepts. We can revisit them. So health systems are made up of relationships. They're not just made up of components. Somebody had made a very nice thing in the Martian diagram, the two-sided arrows, the communication. So these are the software, the intangible aspects, the relationships. Sometimes the relationships are more important than the actual physical components. So the relationship between the manager and the provider, the relationship between the provider and the user, that is the defining, characteristic of the health system and how it performs. It's not, actually at the end of the day, it's as important as whether you have enough drugs or whether you have enough people. Okay. Health systems consist, so in that same vein, health systems consist of both hardware and software. So we'll revisit that again. So hardware meaning the physical, tangible things, and software meaning things like relationships, ideas, norms, values. Sorry, this is getting a bit long, but I'll quickly go through it. HPSR is multidisciplinary, embracing and valuing science and practice perspectives, as well as different research perspectives. So we already touched on that. Substantive relevance of our research studies informed by existing work in the field is critical to consider in identifying research purpose and conducting ethical research. Okay, so just to make that simpler, what this point is saying, this concept is that we need to think about the existing work that has been done in a particular area before we do our own. We have to couch our own research in the existing literature and existing knowledge. Sometimes not only formal peer-reviewed literature, but the other forms of knowledge that already exist. Research purpose may be of different types. So this we'll visit at length here. But the purpose of why you are doing the research, it can be to defend certain norms, it can be to explore, it can be to describe, it can be to explain, or it can be to bring about change, specifically focused on bringing change. Like when we have the session on participatory action research, there's a very explicit focus on change making, which is part of the research, or some combination of these. So normative, these are sort of evaluations and all would largely fit within the normative purpose. But we'll revisit these. So I'm not going to open this up right now because we'll revisit them again. The research question reflects the study's research purpose and drives the selection of an appropriate research study or strategy or design. The question is a boss. Question defines what approach you will take. And finding the question is probably the most crucial step, and fixing that question is the most crucial step in health policy and systems research. Okay, another important point when you talk about study design, that's a most important part of the actual research plan, how you design the study. And HPSR embraces not only fixed study designs in which you predetermine the design, but also flexible designs, flexible research strategies in which the design can change as you are moving the study forward, but within a circumscribed way, not completely haywire. There's a way you will describe in which preemptively in which the study can change, and there'll be a method for following that change as well. Then this point that I made earlier, there's a flat hierarchy among research strategies within HPSR, no gold standard. So all research strategies need to be given equal respect and equal understanding, and the fact that they each have a place in the broader field of HPSR. And this last point also very important, HPSR embraces both statistical and analytical generalizability. So public health is all about statistical generalizability. Do we have the sample sizes? Do we have the power to achieve understanding, in which a particular finding can have also significance in a different setting? So that's statistical generalizability. Analytical generalizability, or another word I could use is thematic generalizability. If there are particular themes that have arisen in a particular setting, particular findings, qualitative findings or experiential findings that have existed, how is it that they are only relevant to that setting, or are they also relevant in other settings? They are relevant in other settings also, but not literally. You can't just transplant them. You can't say that, oh, so this happened here, so it will also happen there. You'll say this finding gives us an insight into this particular setting, so it is also likely to give us an insight into that particular other setting, but in the context. We have to view it in that particular context. And that's the principle of analytical generalizability. So we'll come to that again. I won't go into it in depth. And last slide, skills and competencies. Recognizing where the boundaries are, what is HPSR, becoming familiar with the field, framing questions, very important one, knowing strategy, which strategy to use to answer a particular question, recognizing the strengths and weaknesses of different approaches and tools, critical analysis, so being able to read a research paper and saying, okay, so is this rigorous or not, is it relevant or not, and being familiar and comfortable with different perspectives. Okay, sorry, there's more. This is just the course outline, so quickly run you through it. So the course is run basically with various components of foundation. So horizontals are basically topics of instruction. Another word you could use is modules or capsules. So today's horizontal is health systems and policy frameworks. We'll also be looking at justice, equity, and gender. Tomorrow we'll be looking at complexity and research frameworks. And knowledge translation we'll be looking at day 8. So these are the foundational concepts. And then we have specific approaches or lenses which we'll also be looking at, as you know. So economic analysis, policy analysis, realist evaluation, systems thinking, ethnography, implementation research, and PAR. So I don't think this is all self-explanatory. I don't need to go into that. But there will also be some cross-cutting components that will run through the course. So the keystone vertical is that individual research plan that you'll be developing. The problem vertical is we've identified 5 or 6 problems, health system problems that are kind of universal problems, and we'll be using them as case studies throughout the 2 weeks to teach those. So there'll be a familiarity. It's the same problem we are referring to. So it'll help us to think about how different approaches approach the same problem in a different way. The economists may look at the same problem in a different way. Policy analysts will look at it in a different way. And very importantly, the reading vertical, which will mainly take place after hours when you'll go back to your quarters and read. We'll give you readings every day. And next day, we will have a session which will be primarily focused on discussing those readings. And that will be the first thing in the morning. Okay, now so that's the snapshot of the overall thing. It's in your course outlines, so you should have seen this. And now I actually have finished. So that is the open access policy, which will conclude every lecture. You don't need to read that, but just for your reference.